All right, my name's Katrin, and my pronouns are they, them. The story that I'm talking about today is something that happened to me when I was a kid, probably around the ages of like 7 to 14, kind of that age range.
Mhm.
Um, and this is back when I lived in Northern Oregon, up in Columbia County. I lived pretty deep in the woods. My parents were kind of kooky people, so we were very secluded from society. Um, a lot of times, my parents were just kind of like in their room. They spent a lot of time in their room, and me and my siblings kind of had the run of the house and the land we lived on to ourselves. And so a lot of times when our parents wanted to see us, they'd call us like into their room and we'd like hear it from the other end of the house and waddle off to go see them. But sometimes we would hear them calling us and we'd go ask what they wanted and they'd be like, we didn't call you, go away, or they'd be asleep or um and this was just kind of a thing that happened that we just accepted was a regular occurrence. Sometimes you just hear mom and dad calling you and it wasn't them. And this would happen all over, like in our house, on our property. Um, and sometimes, like when you think about it, you'd realize you hadn't necessarily heard it like with your ears. Like it was something, it's like you just had that feeling in your chest that, oh, like someone has called me and I should respond. I should go follow the voice. And it's not like it happened every day, but it happened often enough that it was just something that happened. And at the time it just felt like a minor annoyance because it's like you'd hear it, you're like, I heard someone say my name, I heard someone call me, it must have been mom and dad. And you go and you talk to them and they'd be annoyed. And you wasted your time. You stopped playing, you went off and did something else. Um and it eventually got to the point where like you could kind of tell like you'd hear it, you'd respond, and you'd be like, no, I don't think they were actually calling me that time. And because I grew up under such unusual circumstances, it there's constantly things that I'll be talking to people about and realize that like, oh, like something about my growing up wasn't normal. But when I tell people about this always kind of freaks them out. um I know a lot of times when talking about it, I'll joke and say, "Oh, it was like the Fae living in the woods." But the thing is, since I moved out of that house and moved into like normal modern society where there's like other buildings and other people around, it doesn't happen anymore. I don't hear like someone calling for me when they're not there. Like now I just experience like normal, like, oh, I thought someone said my name, but it was just my friends having a conversation. It's not the same thing. It's not the same feeling. Um, and every once in a while, like I'll bring it up to my siblings and we'll kind of laugh it off. But it is something that is kind of just, I don't know if I have an explanation for it other than there was something about those woods that sometimes you would hear something calling you and it wasn't anyone.
The fact too that your siblings also experienced it.
Yeah, it was just a fact of life. It was like, oh, I thought mom and dad were calling me. It wasn't them. What?
Ew.
Like, how do we just go along with that?